Up them balls on them, birdie.
Welcome to Faith in Motion Ministries. We are here on our Wednesday service, Glazing Wednesday. We thank you guys that are with us here in the sanctuary. Those who are watching us online, we thank you. And we say we love you again and would like to see you in the sanctuary. I hope you have a great week. I hope Sunday message was good. Time to grow up. Time to grow up. And guess what? Tonight, it's going to be Holy Spirit just helping us. And make it simple, Lord. That's the topic tonight. make it simple, Lord. Make it simple. He told you time to grow up now. Now you like, okay, I'm growing up, but make it simple. Help me understand. So that's where we are. But we thank you again. We thank you again. Call a friend, call a neighbor, share the YouTube channel, share the ministry. I mean, a lot of you guys are supporting us online. We would like to see you. I would like to give you a hug and say thank you and we love you. But don't stay home. We like to really fellowship with you guys. But tonight, we want to acknowledge our leadership. Apostle Leroy Thompson Sr. in Louisiana. And also, we have our Bishop Robinson in Richmond, Virginia. And we have our pastor, Pastor Scott C. Sanders in Albany, Georgia. So we thank God for that. And also, if you've been watching us, we have been promoting our leadership Prosperity Revival in Louisiana. If you have a chance to go in the website and look at the teaching, it'll be greatly. If you don't see it yet, wait. It'll be live on YouTube in the next couple of days, and you can watch it. But again, we thank you. We're excited. It's Fire Wednesday. Get your cup of hot ice. Hot ice. Get your cup. Get your cup ready. Get your Bible. Get your laptop and things so you can follow with us with the Word. Again, I already told you. Sunday message was it was a good message. It blessed me. It's time to grow up. All of us need to grow up sometime, Johnny. You see what I mean? You think you never reach the height yet. You still got to keep growing. But tonight, the topic tonight is make it simple, Lord. Make it simple. Make it simple. Make it simple, Lord. Make it simple. Make it simple. It's funny because when I was getting ready, for the messages are coming differently now. It just drops something and that's it. Really don't have to do, because I've been in the Word, really don't have to do a lot of studying, just a lot of, not studying for messages, but just staying in the Word and then just give it to me. So, make it simple, Johnny. Make it simple, Lord. Make it simple. A lot of us, Jamal, have missed it, because we don't understand, sometimes God, Sandy, will tell you something and you get all excited, but then you don't understand it. You see, and you keep asking the same question, Britt. Lord, when is it going to happen? Lord, when is it going to happen? Lord, when? It's like, I already told you. But even though he told you, you don't believe it. You don't believe it. So he got to find a way to make it simple. He got to make it simple to you so you could get it. You see, because remember, Sandy, God taught from the end to the beginning. So that's why sometimes it's hard. That's why it's okay to say, Lord, make it simple. Because what he'll do, he'll give you the whole plan in the back end. I'm going to make you a multi-millionaire. Meanwhile, you can't even eat a cheeseburger. You can't even get a Crystal burger. Forget Burger King burger, that's $2. Crystal burger, 50 cents. Crystal Burger, but meanwhile, he's telling you, Johnny, I'm going to bless you so much. And you're like, man, Lord, make it simple. Make it simple, Brit. I mean, but you see, he sees your potential. See, he's talking to your potential. He's trying to get you closer to him. He's trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? He's trying to start up what he placed inside of you. He's trying to get it going. So he tells you the end before the beginning. So now you think, okay, Lord, okay. A year done passed, 2 years, 5 years. Be like, Lord, okay, you don't believe it. Don't believe it. But you don't understand, Johnny, that he's trying to get you in the path. And when I saw this today, it was like, oh, wow, okay. I'm like, yeah, that's it right there. We all go through it. We all go through it. We all go through that message. Somebody out there, you all go through it. So now we're going to go to Genesis chapter 15. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 1, we're going to talk about our father, Abram. Talk about our father, Abram, Johnny. So Genesis chapter 15 in verse 1. Okay, before we start, let me give you a little backup on that. So Abram, Brit, just conquered a battle. He just beat about 8 kings and plundered them, took all their stuff, because Lot was with him. So Lot got what you call it? What's the word today? Hijacked, not hijacked though. Kidnapped. Lot got kidnapped, Brit. So now Abram's servant heard of it and went to Abram and said, Master, your nephew got kidnapped, and they took all his stuff with him. So he said, okay, no problem, we're going to get him back. So he got all these men, so they went in and got and fought, and they got Lot back. And then not only they got Lot back, they got everything that the enemy had plundered from the other nations. So they took everything back. So now Abraham's coming back. He's coming back with a whole bunch of stuff. So now Abraham is rich. He's coming back rich. And then that's when he went and tied to Melchizedek, the priest. He gave him a tenth of everything that he plundered. Okay? So now, after he gave him a tenth, now he's still rich. So now, the Lord, now verse 15 now, that's when the Lord come to Abraham. Okay, 15:1. It says, sometime later, the later is after he won the battle. Okay? So sometime later, the Lord, right? You see the Lord? Capital Lord, that's God. Okay? The Lord spoke to Abram. Remember, he's still Abram, not Abraham yet. In a vision. Okay? He came to him in a vision and said to him, do not be afraid. Okay? He said, don't be afraid, Abram, for I will protect you, right? He said, I'll protect you. He said, and your reward will be great. Okay? So now, so he's telling him, he says, I'm going to protect you. Okay? Then he says, your reward will be great. Remember now, here's God talking to a man, Abram not saved. Abram not saved. So now, Johnny, God is protecting someone that's not saved. That don't make sense. That don't make sense, Britt. See, this is where we get it wrong, and as Christianity, we think God speaks to us. And you're going to miss it all the time if you think you only speak to you because you're a Christian. Abram not saved, but God says, because I have a plan to use him, I have to protect him. Because I have a purpose for him, I have to protect him. So God protecting his purpose, not Abram. See, that's why we look at all the superstars, the rich people in the world, and we say, oh, nah, and the devil, the devil this. But guess what? Most of them, Sandy, they're doing God's purpose. You may say, this is not saved. I know they serve the Illuminati. But guess what God says? Feed the hungry. God didn't say, Brit, Christian, feed the hungry. He said, feed the hungry. Clothe the naked. As you've done it unto them, the least of them, you've done it unto me. So now, Sandy, we sit there and judging my favorite, T.I. We're in Atlanta, so I know, back in New York, I would say Run DMC. But this, as Christian, Johnny, we don't understand God. See, Brit, we sitting there, we saying, oh, yeah, he's Illuminati, he's this, he's that. But then he's doing God's purpose. Because, I don't know, if you read the Bible, it don't say Christian feed the homeless. It doesn't say that. It said feed the poor. So whoever's feeding the poor, God said, oh, okay. Oh, you're feeding the poor? Okay, so you're in my purpose. So now I got to give you more to continue my purpose. Because his purpose is, co-pastor, is for people not to die hungry. Anybody that's doing that, Brit, I gotta bless them. That's the guy we don't understand. That's the guy they don't teach you in church. That's why we all Christian, we all so judgmental, judging the people in the world. Meanwhile, guess what? They're doing more of God's purpose than we that are saved. Lord, make it simple, Lord, make it simple. So God is protecting. God says, Abraham, don't worry, I'm going to protect you. And guess what? The reason he's protecting him, he's protecting the purpose, but guess what? Abraham has something. He has the riches, he has wealth. God cannot protect nothing. God cannot protect nothing. If there's nothing there, what we need to protect for? It's got to be something to protect. Okay? So the amount of protection you're looking for and the amount of protection that other people have, they're not safe. They have better protection than a Christian. I know that's deep. I know that's deep because we as Christians, we think, okay, well, we want to judge. We really want to judge. Judge them folks out there. Oh, yeah, they Illuminati. They doing this. They doing that. But guess what? But they're doing the Lord's work. Because remember, God, Sandy, doesn't care about, God care about purpose. That's why if he call you to do a purpose, you don't do it. Even though you're a Christian, you just move on. If he care about Christian, then he would have stayed with you, Brit. Oh, come on, Brit. Come on, Brit. You got to do it. He said, no, I'm not about Brit. I'm about purpose. So whoever going to accomplish the purpose, I just use them. That's why you see Christians just stand there and they think they know God. Yes, you're going to go to heaven because you saved. But the purpose, your salvation on this earth will be miserable. Because inside of you, there's something that's calling for purpose, but you don't want to do it. Make it simple, Lord. Make it simple. So now, 15, verse 1, verse 2. Then he says, but Abram replied, O sovereign Lord. Johnny said, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? He's asking a question now. Asking a question. He said, Lord, okay, you say you're going to protect me, you're going to bless me, but what good is those blessings when I don't even have a son? Again, God told you, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm going to make you a multi-millionaire. Then 10 years in the process of time, Lord, when is it going to happen? How's it going to happen? He said, just stay on the track. Stay on the track. He said he's going to do something for you, Britt, and you like, Lord, when? Because remember, he speaks to you from the beginning to the end. He shows you who you could be. He shows you the potential who you could be. Then you get excited because that's how he gets you. Then he said, now it's time to walk. And in the process, this is when we start asking questions. But God's like, just keep your eyes on the end. Just take a picture memory, and then keep your eyes on that. And if you keep your eyes on that, as you walking, guess what? Because your steps are ordered by me, you'll get there. Make it simple, Lord. Make it simple. So Abram said, Lord, what good are all your blessings? Why? See, a lot of times, guess what? We turn away the blessing. We turn away the blessing, Pastor, because we think it's taking too long. A lot of times we turn it away. We say, why? No, that can't be. It is too hard. I don't even need it anymore. But guess what? Because we don't even know the words you speaking out of your mouth, it's making it taking longer and longer. It's only by his grace if he even comes. He'll come because guess what? It's not for you, there's purpose attached to it, but because you're speaking all those negative words and questioning, it's going to take you longer and longer to get there. So you see, Abram says, what good is it? All of us have said, I remember I said, Lord, if you just get me an apartment, I'm good. Because this is too hard. All of us have said it, Britt. Lord, it's okay. If I could stay right here. Lord, it's okay if you could just pay my house off. You just pay this car off. Take this pressure off of me, it's okay. But he's saying, no, it has nothing to do with you. And that's what you see the father, Abram, is saying. He said, Lord, what good is your blessing? He just came from the war, Johnny, and plundered everybody, have all the wealth. Now he's saying, what good is your blessing? What good is your blessing? And we've said it so many times. In the verse it says, since you've given me, he says, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? Then he says, since you've given me no children, right? He said, you've given me no children, right? Eleazar of Damascus, a servant of my household, will inherit all my wealth. So he's telling God, Johnny, he says, Britt, he says, since you give me no children now, my servant is the one that's going to inherit my wealth. Because back in that time, the tradition was if you didn't have children, whatever you had went to the servant. That was tradition. You ain't need to go to no court, no probate court, or some other courts you got, Britt. Got all them courts after courts. Back then it wasn't like that, Johnny. Shoot. Minute you died. That's why the kings, right? The kings have someone tasting their food. Because everybody was ready. They were ready, Sandy, they were ready. As soon as you clock, okay, everything belongs to me. So that's why you couldn't bring the king's shoe. The king's food had to go to 3-4 different people. Because some of the maids, their system was a little stronger. That poison couldn't get fast, so so they didn't drop right then and there. You see, so the king said, you gotta go to you, then you. One of y'all gonna drop if there's something in there. One of y'all gonna go down. So that's why, back then, as soon as you die, Brit, all your wealth go to your maid. No question asked. So the maid be watching. Say, all right. You got this, you got that. Okay. So Abram saying, I don't have no children. So, Lord, why all this blessing going to do what they're going to do for me? Somebody said, Lord, make it simple. About that, this is the punchline is coming up. Right? The punchline is coming up, Johnny. But you see, Britt, sometimes we don't understand the promise. We don't understand it, and we try to not cheapen it, but make it a less effect because we don't understand the promise. Don't understand it. You see, he has all this blessing now. Now, Johnny, he's asking. He says, "Lord, I don't have a son." God said, "Okay, all right. Let me make it simple for you. Let me make it simple for you, Jamal. God about to make it simple for you." Now let's go to Genesis 12. Genesis 12, verse 1. And it reads, it says, the Lord had said to Abram, leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. Now, the same Lord that came to him in the vision, that's the same Lord that told him that way back in the day. Okay. Then verse 2 said, it said, I will make you into a great nation. Then he said, I will bless you and make you famous. And you will be a blessing to others. Somebody said, make it simple. See, he's asking for a son. God said, I'm going to give you a nation. You see, that's us. That's how we do. That's how we do God. We say, Lord, if you just pay my house off, I'll be good. God said, I'm trying to give you the subdivision. You asking to pay your house off. God says, this whole subdivision, I want to give it to you. You say, Lord, pay my 100 accord off, and Lord says, shoot, the car that I want to give you, you're not even thinking about it. You don't even know the name of it yet. That's what he told me. And I remember I had a clunker. We could take the clunker, I would say glunker. Because it passed the C, it went to G, glunker. It was glunking, smoking. Serving God, Christian. Christian, Brit, love Jesus. Shoot, you couldn't love Jesus more than me. Sandy loved Jesus serving in church, serving pastors, loving Jesus, crying in church all day long, driving a clunker. See, if it was about loving God, I wouldn't have a clunker, right? I'm trying to show you. It ain't all about that. It's got to work the principle. I love Jesus. I was in church before I had the key to the church. I opened the church up. Yeah, in my clunker. With a box of 12-quarter oil in the trunk and 20 gallons of water. Make sure I make it there. Love Jesus. And so I'm like, Lord, Lord, I love you. I'm serving my pastor. I'm opening the church up. I'm the first one there, last one leave. I'm giving and all that. How come I'm driving a clunker? Shoot. My neighbor called it, what you call it, fumigator. By the time I leave, Jay, once I step on that gas, shoot, like a cloud. A cloud came down like Jesus was coming on the scene. But I love Jesus. How come Jesus didn't say, you know what, Mark, here's a car? No, it wasn't happening. It was principle. You have to operate by the principle. So one day I'm laying down. One day I'm like, man, I got so used to it I wasn't even ashamed of the car no more. I'll just be laughing. Sometimes, you just get used to it. You're like, okay, that's fine. Keep a shirt. I got to keep a shirt in a bag because, once I get there, it's going to smell like smoke. Shake the shirt, get the air out. So one day, Britt, I'm laying down, and the Lord said to me, says, don't worry about your car. He said, okay. He said, because the car I want to give you, money won't be a problem. So I was so excited, I'm thinking the car's coming tomorrow. I almost gave the glunker away. almost call and say, those places that give you $200 for your car? I tell them, keep the $200, but you're going to need it. Just to clear the smoke behind it when you drive it. And I waited, Sandy, I waited, the car never came. But it's an example that God showed me the end from the beginning. And that's what happened to us. We thinking, okay, it's going to happen tomorrow. No. He's just showing you where the potential where I'm going to take you. It took years before I get a car that don't smoke. Whew. Years. More like 10 years. But you say, okay, so why? I'm telling you, you couldn't love God more than me. You couldn't love God more than me. My heart was pricked to him. You say Jesus, I start crying. But how come nothing happened? Talking to a Christian out there, you think it's about loving Jesus. Yes, it's good to love Jesus. It's good. He paid a price for us. But there's principle you have to find. But see, he told you, and sometimes he's trying to get you to a bigger prize, but you want to settle right there. And I almost settled. Almost settled, Sandy. I saw a car. I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. But even though outwardly I wasn't, but inside I wanted a car. So I almost made it. I almost went and made it happen. And then one day I was sitting down, ready to pull the trigger. And then the Holy Spirit told me, says, you can get it. Remember I told you, if you get, when I give you money will not be a problem. And I knew at the time if I had done it, I would have put myself in a huge hole. But inside, even though I didn't say I was okay, I wanted to get out of that smoking bomb. I want to get out of it. So verse 12, so God told him, Genesis 12:2, he says, I am, Abram said, I don't have a son. He said, I will make you into a great nation. He said, I'll bless you. I'll make you famous. And you will be a blessing to others. Make it simple, Lord. Verse 3 says, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. Then he said, all the families on earth will be blessed through you. He told him that in verse 12. See, God told him that 40 years ago. See, and that's what I'm saying for us tonight. Make it simple, Lord, because there are promises that he's told you, you really didn't understand it when he told it to you. You really didn't get it. That's why you go back now asking him the same thing. Say, Lord, when is this coming? And he has to bring it back to you again, John, to your memory, and say, let me make it simple for you. So he's telling Abram in verse 12, he says, I'm going to make you a great nation. People are going to be blessed through you. Meanwhile, now in verse 15, he's saying, I don't have a son. A son and nation, they're two different things. But as men, that's what we do because that's what we're thinking about. Ourselves. See, Abram wasn't thinking about a nation is a whole bunch of people. He didn't care about the people that God was going to give him. All he cared about is one son. And that's what we do. We say, Lord, if you just pay my house off, and Lord said, no. I'm trying to give you a subdivision so you can help more people. Some of you say, well, Lord, if you just give me $200,000, Lord said, I'm trying to make you a multimillionaire so you can feed the hungry, clothe the poor. Because I'm tired of the people that you talk about doing it. I'm tired of the people that you talk about all the time doing it, and you a Christian, you saved, you're not doing it. That's why a lot of Christians going to be, man, Johnny, a lot of Christians going to be upset. When they die, go home and see some of those people that they were saying, Illuminati and all that, they're right there in heaven. They're not going to be deep in heaven where Abraham is, but they're going to get their toe in. They're going to crack the door, Jamar, and make it in. And we're going to be surprised. Like they made it, but see, because God is about purpose. The famous black woman on TV, start with O, she does stuff. She does stuff, right? But guess what? She does purpose stuff. See, we want to be so religious, and we want to know, but she does purpose stuff, and God say, all I'm about is somebody that could do my purpose. That's what God's all about, Sandy. He wants somebody that could do his purpose. He said, if you could do my purpose, then I'm going to back you. And that's why we say sometimes, we say, okay, how come those people, they die at 99, and you got a Christian dying at 50-something? But what you doing? You ain't doing nothing. Time to go home. Time to go home. You ain't doing nothing. Those people, they're doing something. Because, see, we got to get out of this religious mindset that only Christian could do. If you look at the Bible, Johnny, the Bible doesn't say Christian do this. God just put it out there. And when he put it out there, he said, anybody that does it, there's some specific area that says this is what you should do. But the Bible, I mean, you could take it and do it, and then you're doing God's purpose. And then God will speak to them and dream and give them ideas to do his purpose more. Then you speaking in tongues 20 times a day, fasting 300. I mean, you're doing a 180-day fast. I mean, hard fast too, just water, Johnny. Chicken broth with spices in it. Them folks ain't fasting. They ain't fasting, Britt. Sandy, they're not fasting. They eating their stuff. They eating filet mignon. But they see something out there. They say, oh, they need help? Okay, we're going to give. And next thing you know, they say, oh, so-and-so just got a $200 million contract. And you say, why? I mean, why the devil? The devil. See, you blaming the devil. The devil, see? The devil giving them money. No, baby. No. No, you don't understand God's word. Guess what he said? He said, give. It shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, and I will cause men to give to your bosom. You want to talk about LeBron? I don't know if he's a Christian or not. May not be. But guess what? That's why he keep getting money. Keep making it. Because he's operating in the principle, and God said, because remember, God is not a liar. His principle got to work for everybody. He said, I'll reign under just and under unjust, Johnny. Co-pastor, he said, I'll reign. You know, we sitting there thinking about, we got our head wrap. Oh, you know, you can't wear them tight skirts, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know. And God says, I know you're talking about all that, but guess what? I bless the just and the unjust. Say you don't believe it? Go to the beach. Guess what you see? You saved, go to the beach. I don't have a beach that separates, oh, that's Christian, son for Christian, and no son for non-Christian. He said, Christian gets son, non-Christian gets son. See, I bless both. See, that's the thing. We have a warped sense of God. We don't understand who we're serving. We don't. That's why we're so judgmental. Oh, yeah, you know. But meanwhile, if we just see what they do and then minister to them, they might come into into our fold. But we want to judge them. So he told Abraham, John, he says, Abraham, I'm trying to give you a nation. You asked me for a son. Genesis 12, verse 2. Genesis 12, verse 2. He says, I will make you into a great nation. I'll bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. Then verse 3 says, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt, and all the families on the earth will be blessed. And what's the next verse? Then so Abram departed as the Lord has instructed, and Lot went with Abram. Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran, right? Okay. So now let's go back to Genesis 15, and we're at verse 3. Then, now, Genesis 15, verse 3, now Abram is saying, you've given me no descendants of my own. Right? So one of my servants would be heir. Okay? Then the Lord said to him, no, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir. Right? Then the Lord took Abram outside. He said, I'm going to make it simple for you, Abram, because you didn't understand when I spoke to you. Maybe when I say nation, you didn't understand what nation means. So he took him outside, First Lady, just what God has to tell you. He has to take you. He said, I'm going to put you in this mansion. 19,000 square feet. You say, Lord, if you just pay my shack, I just got a shack, 1 bedroom. If you just pay it, I'll be okay. Lord said, wait, you don't understand what I'm telling you. You don't understand. So he'll arrange it where he puts you in somebody's mention, so you get in there and you like, Johnny, whoa. Or he said, I'm going to give you a Rolls Royce, and you say, Lord, just keep my Camry. And you say, okay. Then he sends somebody with a Rolls Royce, and you riding in it. He said, because that's what I want to do for you. So he took him outside. He took him outside, Brit. He said, maybe you didn't understand what I was saying. Let me make it simple. Let me make it simple to you. Simple, baby. And then what happened is you see that it's not like you have access to the house. You have access to that car. You see it. Because that person will be close to you or live in your neighborhood. You'll see that car all the time. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, my God. And after you watch it for about 6 months, oh, I could have that. That's God is showing you. He said, I'm going to make it simple to you. I'm going to make it simple so you know that it's me, and this is not what you're going to do, it's what I'm going to do. Most of the time, that's why we have problems, because we're thinking we have to do it. So now, what did he say? What's the verse say? Put it back up for me again. Then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you'll have. See, God is messing him up. See, he's asking for a son. God said, I'm going to give you descendants. See, God don't think, Johnny, God don't think of you. God thinks of generation. That's why he said, if you don't do it, I'll do it myself. Now take me to Matthew 24. Matthew 24. Oh, we're coming to a close. He says, God says, I tell you the truth. This generation will not pass from the scene until all these things take place. Man, Sandy, he's going after Abraham. He said, Sandy, whatever I promise you. I said, Sandy, I'm going to do this in your life. He said, I tell you the truth. These generation will not pass. So watch a generation. A generation is about 40 years. So he said, I tell you the truth, Johnny, what I promise you, if it don't come to pass in your time, in 40 years, the next generation going to do it. And if the next generation don't do it, the next one going to do it. If the next one don't do it, the next one going to do it. So Abraham asking for his son, God said, no, forget son, my thing going to have to come to pass. And guess what? It came to pass, Abraham is the father of us. Meanwhile, he's asking for a son. So the Lord had to take him, Sandy, and say, make it simple. Let me make it simple for you. See, we think that God thinks of us. God does not think of you, Sandy, or Pastor Mark, or John, or Brittany. He doesn't think of you. He thinks of generation. He thinks of bloodline, the gene, what's in the gene. Because what he put in that gene, that's got to come to pass. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, Sandy, then it go Jeremiah. And Jeremiah don't do it, it'll pass on to his children. Somebody going to do it. It's like now going on with you, Johnny, and Britt. Somebody's supposed to do, see, you don't just come into this just like this. That's why it's easy. You could prophesy to yourself. You say, where'd you miss it? Who missed it? It's like me. I asked my mom before she passed, I'm like, who's in the bloodline do you know that was a pastor? She said, nobody in my side was a pastor, and nobody in your father's side was a pastor. See, that's a lie, though. Somebody didn't want to do it. You see? Somebody didn't want to do it, Johnny. So they kept doing their own way and then got to know, okay, you can do it, but somebody's going to do it. Then when he called my number, I answered, and guess what? I'm doing it. And that's the same thing with you guys. You see, you don't have to look far. Somebody didn't want to do it. So they never did it. So guess what? They never got the opportunity. So we get to start from the back. But see, they missed the blessing that God was supposed to put on them. They miss it. So he told Abraham, he says, look at the sky. You asked me for a son. I'm trying to give you the whole nation. Then he said generation. He says, you thinking of you, I think of generation. If you don't do it, somebody's going to do it. Somebody else is going to do it. If they don't do it, somebody else is going to do it until I find somebody to do it. Because guess what? God is worrying about purpose. He's not worrying about me. He's not worrying about you. That's why when you cry all you want, he's telling you that you can cry all you want as a Christian. God says, go do what I tell you to do. God doesn't honor you as a Christian. He honors obedience. That's all he honors. He honors obedience, Johnny. You can cry all you want. Shoot. I would have been a multi-millionaire already. Because I used to cry. Because he pricked my heart, but he says, okay, that crying, that's fine. But there's got to be some action behind that cry. Those tears are fine, but okay, did you do what I tell you to do? What I asked you to do? So he said to him, he says, you asked me for a son. He said, I'm trying to give you, go outside, look at the stars. And that's what happened to us. We go out, God give us a promise, and we don't understand it. And years go by, and then guess what? The Lord now have to come back and say, okay, because he worries about purpose, he said, okay, it's taking too long. It's not taking too long because of me. It's taking too long because you don't understand it. So he'll give you a dream, or he'll bring you somewhere somebody would prophesy to say, you know what, God's going to do this, because he's trying to kick that thing back in you because you're taking too long. Because he's saying that purpose, there's people, remember, God's plan, guys, if you don't ever think of it, there's people that are waiting. God uses people. That's what God uses. He uses people. So if he tell you to do something, you're obedient to it, somebody else is waiting for you to do what he tell you to do so they could be blessed. And then you'll be even blessed 5-10 times more. So he has to use you. So now Genesis 15, verse 5 says, then the Lord took Abram, right? So then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, look up into the sky and count the stars. If you can, that's how many descendants you will have. Then verse 6 says, and Abram believed the Lord. Now he believed him. You see? And that's what he has to do for all of us. Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. See, now he believed him, right? Now the Lord said, okay, now you are righteous. But guess what? Jesus didn't die yet. How can God call in a man righteous? Ooh-wee. Because he's standing with him, you see. But remember, let me tell you this, though. I'm going to get the Christian nervous out there, Johnny. Religious folks. The Bible says Jesus was slain before the foundation of the earth, right? So Jesus already died. That's why God was able to tell him he's righteous, because the blood was already shed. The blood was already shed. Make it simple, Lord. So that's where we're going to stop tonight. See, all I want you to do is God had gave you a promise. He gave you a promise, but you didn't understand it. And it's all of us. All of us didn't understand it. You tell us something from the beginning, we didn't understand it. And then we keep struggling, and God has to come back and make it simple. He has to come back and make it simple. Because his goal is for you to get it so his purpose could be accomplished on this earth. That's all I'm saying. So if this message was good for you tonight, if it pricked your mind tonight, prick your heart, and for you to go back and ask God, Lord, make it simple. All I want you to do is go back in your memory and say, this promise that God made you, and you thought it was so big, you didn't understand it. Ask him tonight. This message is for you tonight. To ask him to say, Lord, make it simple so I can fulfill purpose. If you enjoy that message, you want to sow into this ministry, all the information is in your line, sow. God said he loves a cheerful giver. Just give. And he said, if you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And he will cause man to give to your bosom. Okay? And if you're looking for a church home, all the information is in your screen. We'd like to see you. Call us, email us. You have beautiful pastors and co-pastors. We love to hug you. We want to say thank you for supporting us, but come on in into the sanctuary. Least not last, if you need prayer, call us. We will pray with you and pray for you. But better off, we would like you to come into our prayer service on Monday night, every Monday night at 8 p.m. And we love you. We'll say we'll see you again on Sunday at 10:30. Have a blessed week.